Hi guys, so hope you're doing good and hope the initiative of News in 30 Minutes has helped you in developing interest in current affairs. As I keep telling you, this initiative is not to substitute your newspaper reading. This initiative is only to complement and to facilitate your newspaper reading. So please develop that habit of newspaper reading. That is a very important skill for clearing this exam. However, today in News in 30 Minutes on the 5th of October 2023, let us look at a few important issues that have taken place and try to understand the few concepts behind these issues. So let's dwell with it. The first issue that we are talking about is the Nobel Prize in Chemistry. So the Nobel Prize in Chemistry goes to a trio who have worked on the concept of quantum dots. Now, before we dwell into what exactly is quantum dots, what is important is quantum mechanics has become very important in the world today. How do we know this? Is because both the Nobel Prize in Physics as well as the Nobel Prize in Chemistry is going to quantum mechanics. In physics, it went into a concept called attosecond. Attosecond is a very small division of time where we get a glimpse of electrons. So that attosecond physics is itself a separate realm within physics that deals with quantum mechanics. So this was the recipient of the Nobel Prize in physics. Now in chemistry also the prize is going into the realm of quantum mechanics, but this is going into the concept of quantum dots. Now what exactly is quantum dots? Look, if we take small crystals, now these crystals are a size of nanometers. That means each crystal is very fine and they are of the size of nanometers. Now when I increase the, when I decrease the space amongst the crystal, the space reduces to such a level that these crystals will start behaving as just one atom. So I hope you got the difference of what is quantum dot. Quantum dot is a group of smaller crystals of the size of nanometers. They are coalesced, or the space between them are reduced to so small that all these small crystals will start behaving just as one atom. So if I speak in the atomic scale, inside this you have thousands of atoms, but you are bringing them so close to one another that all these thousands of atoms will mimic as one atom. So that is what is quantum dots. Now what happens because of this? As I told you, these crystals are behaving as one atom. Now when we expose these crystals to light, these crystals that are acting as quantum dot or acting as one atom, they will re-emit light of different color. They'll re-emit light of different color. So one property that the scientists observed is, now if they expose this crystal of different sizes, if they expose the crystals of different sizes to the same light, the same crystals made up of same materials, just because there is changes in sizes, will see different colors. So this is one of the properties that was observed in quantum dots. So this is what is quantum dots. It has very high applicability. Now the applicability of quantum dots is one, flexible electronics. The second is minuscule sensors. The third is LED lamps. The fourth is medical imaging. So it has several other applications, but the most important amongst them all is quantum communication or quantum computing. This is another application of quantum dots. So this is the issue of the Nobel Prize in chemistry that has gone to the trio who have worked on quantum dots. I hope you got the clarity on this. So let us move on to the next issue. The next issue is an article that is written in the newspaper, and this article is talking about the retribution for the South and accolades for the North. So basically, let me just give you a background of what this article is talking about. This article basically is talking about a very pertinent issue that is happening, that is regarding Article 81. So what does Article 81 say? Article 81 says that the constituencies that are demarcated in the country, that these constituencies that are responsible for the Lok Sabha elections, they should be demarcated on the basis of population. So Article 81 says that all states should have the same population seat ratio. So this is what Article 81 tells. So here the constituencies for the Lok Sabha, that is within the country, when we demarcate the constituencies which will decide the seats for the Lok Sabha, that demarcation of constituencies will be done on the basis of population, and for each state the population seat ratio must be the same. So to just put the matters in perspective, let me give you an example of two states, state 1 and state 2. So let us say in state 1 there are 100, 100 is the population, and there are 10 seats. Okay. Now there is, say state 2, there is 1000 population, and to make the ratio same as state 1, we have to increase the seat of state 2 to 100. So that when I cancel it out, when I cancel the proportion of state 1 and state 2 with respect to population and seat, see, it should be the same. So if I have to get the 10 as the constant in all the states, that is 10 as a constant in state 1 as well as state 2, I have to increase the seats in state 2 to 100, just because I have to get the same proportion as same as state 1. Okay. Now let me just put this into perspective of what is happening here. If you observe, look at this in state 1. Okay, there was a population of 100. In state 2, there is population of 1000. Now, just because there is very high population in state 2, to make sure that the population seat ratio is the same in all the states, you have to increase the number of seats in state 2. Are you getting this? So the point is, the more the number of population in state, the more will be the seats. You are getting this? So population to seat ratio, this is the problem of population to seat ratio. So what this article is talking about is, because the southern states have contributed more to controlling of population, the southern states will be at a disincentive if delimitation is done post 2026. Let me again give you a context of what I am talking about. So now there is in 19 let me just talk about 42nd Amendment Act. So the 42nd Amendment Act put a freeze on the delimitation of constituencies, and the freeze was delimitation should be considered only on 1971 census, and no more delimitation of constituencies should be done for the next 25 years. So the freeze was for the next 25 years, there should not be any delimitation, and whatever delimitation is done for the constituencies should be on the basis of 1971 census. So this is what the 42nd Amendment Act brought into play. Now next what happened is the 84th Amendment Act. Now this 84th Amendment Act that was done in 2001, it extended the freeze of 1971 census. This census is still to be used or continue to be used for Lok Sabha constituencies. However, now the freeze to be extended up to 2026. So this freeze of 2026 is going to come to an end in a few years. So that is why the debate of whether the delimitation commission has to be set up. If it is to be set up, should the population to seat ratio to be taken as given in the Article 81, or should we freeze it to some other point in the future so that the northern state will also develop stability in their population and the southern states will not lose out on the share of seats in Lok Sabha. So this is the debate that is going on continuously regarding the delimitation commission. However, let me just talk about delimitation commission also. Article 82 talk about delimitation commission. This commission is set up and the responsibility of this commission is to fixing boundaries of territorial constituencies. So that is the main job of Article 82. So now in this article they give you a statistic of how the southern states are at a disadvantage compared to the northern states. So again, to give you a perspective from a factual angle, let me just tell you this. Now if I take from 1971 to 2011 and if I take the following states, that is Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, UP, Uttarakhand, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Bihar, Jharkhand. If I take these states from 1971 to 2011, the population has increased from 44% to 48%, 48.2% to be exact. Look at this. So in these 8 states, the population has increased from 44 to 48%. Now in the same time period of 1971 to 2011, if I take the states of Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Telangana, Tamil Nadu, and they've just given these 4 and Telangana, just give me a minute, and Kerala. Okay, and Kerala. So if I take these 5 states, in the same time period, the population has dropped from 24.9% to 21.1%. Look at the change in the population in the same time span of 1971 to 2011. Now, because of this change in the population, if a delimitation commission is set up in 2026 and if the delimitation commission takes up the population to seat ratio on the basis of population distribution on if the delimitation commission takes up the fixing of boundaries on the basis of current population between North and South India, the North India will gain up to 37 seats. North India will gain up to 37 seats and South India will lose up to 23 seats. Okay, so this is the disadvantage of delimitation commission trying to fix boundaries on current population. This will definitely disincentivize the southern states which have played a pivotal role in the control of population. As you people know, control of population is not just from family planning perspective. Controlling of population is a sociological concept. Within the society, the status of people, as it increases, the quality of living increases, the standard of living increases, the women empowerment is seen. With that comes population control. So, if we have to control our population in Northern India, we have to make sure that these social aspects are worked upon. And one way forward, which the author tells, who has written this article, is in order to postpone the delimitation activity of 2026 to some future year until the point where Northern India also has a stability in its population, so that it should not act as a disadvantage to South India, and there has to be proper control of population in North India as well. So this is the article of retribution for the South as well as appellate for the North. So important articles are Article 81 and 82. Delimitation Commission is an important part to look after. 42nd Amendment and 84th Amendment is what is this article talking about. And a few statistics that you can use in your mains exam is the Northern Belt. The increase of population is from 44 to 48%, and South India there's decrease of population from 24 to 21%. So 37 seats is what North India will gain, 23 seats is what the South India will lose if the delimitation commission is done taking this current population in the North and South India to fix the Lok Sabha constituencies. So this is about the issue of retribution for the South and appellate for the North. Alright, so we're done with this. The next issue that that is again making news is the center notifies the establishment of National Turmeric Board. There was a lot of demand, especially from the states of Maharashtra and Telangana, in order to set up this National Turmeric Board. Hence, this is being done. Now, it is important for you to know about turmeric. Now, one is India is the largest producer, consumer and exporter of turmeric. We have 62% of the world's share. That is huge. Hence, it was a necessity for us to set it up. The next is we produce around 11.6 lakh tons of turmeric annually. The leading producers are Maharashtra, Telangana, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. The next is we produce 30 different varieties of turmeric in 20 states. And the last is the exporting nations. We export most of our turmeric to Bangladesh, Malaysia, UAE and USA. So this information is something that you should have regarding regarding turmeric. So establishing the National Turmeric Board will definitely help India's export, as well as definitely help the farmers, especially from Maharashtra, Telangana, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. So this is about the National Turmeric Board. The next is an unfortunate event that is taking place in Sikkim. As you know, the Sikkim is suffering from flash floods, and these flash floods, the flash floods in Sikkim is mainly because of an activity called glacial lake outburst floods. Okay, so let us look at what this glacial lake outburst flood is. Okay, first you should understand what are glacial lakes. Okay, now before we delve into before I show the exact image, first I'll just explain you what exactly is the glacial lake. So if I take this as a mountain and if I take this as the glacier will always retreat due to climate change. If this is snow line 1, not sea level, snow line 1, because of global warming, the snow line is increasing. The snow line is going up. The snow line is not coming down. The snow line will always go up. So because the snow line is going up, the glaciers will retreat. So if I take that mountain, the same glacier, see, it has retreated back. So when the glaciers retreat, the retreating glacier will leave some amount of water. It will leave some amount of water here. Okay, this water is known as glacial lake. Okay, so because of global warming, the number of glacial lakes in Himalayas are increasing. So I hope you understood. See, snow line is a line up to which you are going to observe snowfall, and the snow line is going to go higher in altitude because of increasing temperatures globally. That is because of global warming. And as the snow line keeps going north or keeps going higher in altitude, the glaciers will obviously retreat. Because of the retreating of the glaciers, as the glaciers keep retreating, this part, wherever the glacier has retreated, that part has melted water, and that water becomes glacial lake. Okay. Now, to give you a perspective of stats, Central Water Commission says that total there are 2028 glacial lakes in the Himalayas. Out of this 2028 glacial lakes, 1169 of these glacial lakes are greater than 4000 meters in elevation, and out of this 1169, 200 glacial lakes are vulnerable to glacial lake outburst flood. Okay, so this is the stat given by Central Water Commission, which is in charge of monitoring all the glacial lakes as well. Okay, so I hope you understood what exactly is a glacial lake. So definition of glacial lake goes like this. Glacial lakes are lakes which are called moraine dammed lakes. Okay, so what exactly is moraine? I am going to explain now. But glacial lakes are moraine dammed lakes. Now, if you observe this picture, you can see that the glaciers have retreated. This glacier has gone back, and because the glacier has gone back, you can see the moraine dammed lake. This moraine dammed lake is what they call as glacial lake, and this is the moraine dam. Moraine are sediments brought by the glacier. So these sediments will pile up at this side, performing the job of a dam. A dam basically obstructs the flow of the river, correct? So in the same manner, these moraine, the sediments brought by the glaciers, is acting as a dam, stopping the flow of the glacial water. Okay, so glacial lake outburst flood is, see, I'll give this is, I hope you got the picture of what is a glacial lake. I told you, as more and more glaciers retreat back, the amount of glacial lakes in the Himalayas are increasing. 2028 are the glacial lakes that are in total in Himalayas. Amongst them, 1169 glacial lakes are above 4000 meters and 200 are vulnerable to outburst flood. So let me tell you what is outburst flood. Outburst flood is very simple. See, if for some reason this particular dam, whatever you are seeing, this dam, if this dam collapses, if the moraine dam collapses, this entire water is going to go down. With the collapse of moraine dam, as the water goes down, that effect is known as GLOF, glacial lake outburst flood. So let me show you a few more diagrams. Look at this. The glaciers have retreated back. This is the glacial lake and this is the moraine. Now as this moraine will collapse, the water will flow like this in a very fast pace. It will flow downstream, and when it flows downstream, then it is known as GLOF. Now this is what happened in Sikkim. In Sikkim, the glacial lake where this happened is known as Lonak Lake. Okay, so this Lonak Lake is a glacial lake, and the moraine of this Lonak Lake collapsed, and because it collapsed, this Lonak Lake flooded downstream and entered river Teesta. And as the Lonar Lake flows downstream at very high velocity, then that action is known as glacial lake outburst flood. So in Sikkim, because of the increased water discharge in Lonar Lake, the pressure that the Lonar Lake applied on the moraines increased, and when the lake's pressure on the moraines increases to such an extent that the weight of the lake overrides the carrying capacity of the moraines. This will result in glacial lake outburst flood. I'll repeat again. The weight applied by the lake over the moraines, the weight applied by the lake exceeds the carrying capacity of the moraines. That will result in the glacial lake outburst flood. This is what happened in Lonar Lake. Now, why does the weight of the lake increase? The weight of the lake increases with the volumes of water stored within the lake increases. So that is what happened even in Sikkim. So this resulted in flash floods down the stream. So to summarize, so you got to know that how when there is glacial retreating, the moraine dammed lakes are formed, which are known as glacial lakes, and these glacial lakes will start applying more and more pressure over the moraines. Now look at this. As it applies more and more pressure, the moraine collapses, and that will result in the entire lake flowing down the stream, resulting in flash floods down the stream, and this is what happened in Sikkim. So the lake erupted down the stream, joined Teesta Lake and created flood-like conditions in the downstream of Sikkim. So this is what is happening. Now one other image to just show you. Now in the glacial lake, how can the weight of the glacial lake increase? It can be because of different reasons. The reasons can be, one, because of cloudburst. Cloudburst means heavy rainfall, and that rainfall can add more water. The next is snow avalanche, that can bring a lot of snow into the lake and increase the weight. The next is landslide, that can create siltation and in turn increase the weight. The next is melting of ice in the moraine, earthquakes, overflow. So all these are some of the reasons that can result in GLOF. So these This is what is the reason for the lake burst that has happened in Sikkim. So GLOFs are something that is becoming a recurrent phenomena because of the increasing action or increasing consequence of global warming and climate change. So this is about the issue that is taking place in Sikkim. Let us go to the next issue. The next issue is an issue that is of humanity, humaneness. It is of compassion. It is of showing loyalty and reciprocity between man and animal relationship. Now this is something that you can use in your essay, as well as this is something that you can use in your GS4 ethics, because look at this. In Jim Corbett National Park there is an elephant called Gompi. This elephant has served the Jim Corbett National Park for 40 years. And also there is a loyal dog called Brandy, and this has served the Jim Corbett National Park for 12 years. Now this elephant and this dog have done tremendous work as a service to this national park. For example, the elephant has rescued several forest workers. It has rescued several animals as well. It has also helped eliminate several man-eater tigers. So in that way, these elephants and animals, the dog has helped the Jim Corbett National Park in many ways. So elephant Gompi and loyal dog Brandy got an emotional farewell at Jim Corbett National Park, Jim Corbett Tiger Reserve. Now in ethics, this shows that being humane is not only between humans and humans. Being ethical is not being humans and humans. It goes beyond, it transcends beyond humanity. Ethics transcends beyond humanity. Ethics is something that has to be maintained between man and environment. Ethics is something that has to be maintained between man and animals. And I think this is a very good case study to illustrate that. See, there was no constraint on the Jim Corbett authority to stop or to end the services of these animals. Animals wouldn't have told anything. But even then, they are retiring these animals from service so that they can take rest. That shows ethics in their work, that shows compassion in their art. So this is an excellent case study for transcending ethics beyond humanity. So I hope you can use this in your case study as well. So these were a few issues and important issues that that was there in the newspapers on the 5th of October. I hope this helps in your preparation, and I hope it has inspired you to read newspapers more. Alright, so I'll see you tomorrow, guys. So thank you so much. Please like, share and subscribe if you have or if you felt that this particular session has helped you in some way. Thank you so much. Bye.